Nigeria and Nigerians are bleeding. This is the reality that we're found today. And the people that lead us need to hear this message. And so this is all about knowing what to do to transcend and circumnavigate this perilous time. I don't care who you are, I can tell you you are broke. I don't care who your relative is. I don't care how many times they've called you, especially if you're in the diaspora, asking you for money. The reality that beckons upon them as a Nigerian at a time like this is like someone that has missed rapture. The feeling, the trauma that an average Nigerian faces today is that of trauma. It is that of pain. It is that of hopelessness. The people that promised us hope ended up delivering to us hopelessness. Renewed, exacerbated hopelessness. What do I mean? Nigeria experienced 3 price increase in 30 days. Nigeria as a country has experienced 6 national grid collapse, and we are just in October, and these are the new norms in Nigeria going forward. A 7-year-old will go to school buying biscuits 2,000 naira per day. Transportation from one point to another cost in the thousands. I drive a Toyota Corolla. I just heard recently that an average Toyota Corolla now costs 12 million naira. Talk to me, somebody. And we want to talk about this today, and we also want to talk about what our leadership needs to do as a matter of urgency. What brought about this pain is IMF, International Monetary Fund. What did they do? How were they involved in this unprecedented pain suffered by Nigerians? Number one, I want you to know that it was the IMF that advised the government of Nigeria to remove subsidy. This seems to be the antidote as far as IMF is concerned. And this is what they've always promised all nations of the world going through economic turmoil. They tell them, float your currency, remove subsidy. They have never ever advised any country to do otherwise. You advise a country that has nothing to produce, a country that is producing nothing, to float its currency. That pushes that country into the precipice. The currency and its value continue to plummet. And so, that is how we have found ourselves in such a place as this, at such a time like this. What am I trying to say? A country that consumes what it does not produce and produces what it does not consume. What country will survive on such an equation? That is where we find ourselves. We are operating on the economics, on the projections, on the advice of the International Monetary Fund. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President of Nigeria, exercising and exhibiting what I call confident ignorance, believing in the IMF more than our particular paradigm, our particular realities. The realities that face us in the eyes as Nigerians. We are the only one that knows where the shoe pinches, and so I believe that we are the only one that can solve our unique, peculiar problem. We cannot afford to continue this pain going by the metrics, the advice, the projections of the International Monetary Fund. They're not doing this in the best interest of Nigerians. It will amaze you guys that people are literally dying. The fact that the family of the president and the people in authority, the representatives, the senators, the reps, the fact that you don't have family members dying out of penury does not mean that you should not empathize, sympathize, and feel the pain of the ordinary Nigerian. The pain you can feel is the pain you can heal. If you cannot feel our pain, you cannot heal our pain. You are not qualified to represent us. You are not qualified to stand in those hallowed chambers speaking for the plight of the ordinary Nigerian. And that's what this video is all about, to let you understand that people are literally dying. Those who voted for you out of ignorance, they are literally dying out of starvation. I had an interview with someone, which I'm going to put up anytime from now, where his brother literally starved to death because he cannot afford feeding. I have apprentices that I've been teaching skills. They told me they've not eaten in the last 48 hours. This is the truth. This is the reality. Then at some point, he was shaking, obviously shaking, like someone that is about to faint and collapse. And I had to buy him water and get him some money. This is the reality. I want the people in authority, I want the people that are making these precarious decisions, these policies that keeps nose driving, these policies that will totally plummet the Commonwealth called Nigeria. These policies are not working. You don't need a year to understand that your policies are not working. It takes just 3 months to be able to evaluate and have a critical contemplation to understand that your policies are anti-people and they are not working. A bag of rice sells for over 100,000 naira. As poisonous as I consider rice to be, yet the common man cannot eat rice. The common man cannot enjoy rice. Garri sells for over 1,000 naira. I remember it sold for as much as 1,500. This is what we used to feed to our dogs when we were broke. Now we can't feed our dogs. You know what happened to my neighbor? He had to release 2 Rottweilers out. My neighbor released 2 adult Rottweilers out to fend for themselves. Why? Because honestly, he could not stand the pain of killing them, and he could not feed them. He could not just feed them. He hasn't fed his kids. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He had to release these wild animals into the street to possibly fend for themselves. This is the reality. This is the truth that no one is telling you. No one is telling you that people are practically dying. No one is telling you that it is assumption. Assumption is the lowest level of intellection. It is an assumption that your policy that has not worked in the last 15, 16, 17, 18 months will work ultimately. It is an assumption. It is the lowest level of intelligence. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you cannot afford to operate Nigeria, run Nigeria at the lowest level of intellection. And what do I see? The rulers, the obas, the kabiyesi's, the alaafins, the people that are supposed to speak truth to power. What are they doing? Lounging. Bamu ni mo yo mi o mo bebi pomo enikan kan. Bamu ni mo yo. As far as I'm fed with pot belly, I don't care if someone's son is hungry. This is precarious. We cannot afford to continue leading over 300 million, in my own estimation, Nigerians in continuous poverty. Somalia did not go through this much when it erupted and imploded. Please, we are sitting on a gunpowder and we are at the precipice. There could be an implosion anytime from now. A hungry man is an angry man. We cannot afford to be insensitive. We cannot afford to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to the plight, the pain, and the suffering of ordinary Nigerians. And I used to say this. I've said this time over time. I'm not part of the people that voted for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the people that feel the pain the most are the ignorant ignoramus that did not understand that it does not take ethnicity to give good governance. Because he's a Muslim, we are Muslims. Because he's a Yoruba man, we are Yoruba man. It is our turn. Is it our turn for poverty? Is it our turn for hunger? Guess what? Now we have Tinubu being called T-Pain. What is T-Pain? T-Pain is a drug. And I'm going to put that up in the slide in a moment. T-Pain is the drug that is used, literally to shed weight. Some think is to introduce pain, but literally is to shed weight. And that's what I noticed all around Nigeria. Now you see people losing tons of pounds, tons of flesh. It's not coming out of living healthy. It's not coming out of gymming and exercising. It's coming out of nutrition, malnutrition, not getting the essential protein, not getting the essential vitamins. Look at the Nemets of this world, the Pfizers of this world, the pharmaceutical stores that produce drugs at affordable rate because they were operating in Nigeria. Many of them had to pack their bags and baggages and exit Nigeria. Why? Because of the projectile, because of the trajectory, because of the fact that we are nose driving on daily basis, because of an economy that is totally unsustainable. How can you explain your currency running at 1,690 naira to a dollar? And in few short decades, the dollar was beneath the naira. What has happened to our production capacity? What has happened to our thinking faculty? What has happened to us as a nation? How come the worst of us are ruling the best of us while the rest of us are just onlookers? Come on, guys. We cannot continue to become onlookers. I want you to spread this message to the nooks, to the crannies, and the crevices of Nigeria. Let the leaders of Nigeria understand that these people will not keep quiet forever. You can fool some of the people all the times, but you can't fool all of the people all of the times. Some of us are not mumu. Some of us are not dense. Some of us are not intellectually stagnant. Some of us are intellectually robust. Some of us are highly cerebral. And we are calling you out, and it doesn't matter if you get us arrested. This is protestation and it's constitutional. This, I have my right to voice my opinion and to call you out that your policies are not working. I mean, think about it. We don't even have a president and a vice president in Nigeria as I speak, October 17. We have the people at the helms of affairs, at the driver's seat, at the cockpit, exiting Nigeria on a working visit. Wow, you can't work from Nigeria. You have to go to England. You have to go to Europe to work. Is somebody grasping? How come I'm not? Sometimes I feel I'm the only one that does not understand. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I feel like what is happening to us as a nation. And then people wonder, why are Nigerians not protesting? Why have they not headed for the street? The truth is, Nigeria at the moment is a sinking ship. And in a sinking ship, you grab what you can grab and get out. That is what led to the Japa syndrome. And so nobody believes in Nigeria enough to go to the street. They gave up on Nigeria. The youth gave up on Nigeria. We've been scammed. Look at the Durotoyes of this world. Where are they today? Those who prophesied or prophesied in the name of the Lord. 2020, 2025, Nigeria will undoubtedly become world's most desirable nation to live in. They are now in the same cabinet that is bringing pain and untold hardship onto Nigerians. The people that told us that one day we will tell ourselves and tell our sons and grandsons that NEPA used to take light, and they will ask us, so how do you see at night? That we will tell our young sons that police used to collect bribe, and then they will say back to us, and will they issue receipts? With rhetorics, with lies, with enticing words of men's wisdom, deceive Nigerians. They are now in the cabinet of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and we have not felt their impact. Because they may argue that they needed to be in that cabinet to bring about the needed change. But the truth is, they just lied to us. They just deceived us. They just weaponized ignorance against us. Ignorance can be weaponized. Poverty can be weaponized. These are the critical tools. These are the critical missiles in the arsenal and in the stockpile of the ruiners of our nation as we see today. This is sad. This is pathetic.